backwards when I'm going live, but I just count forward because I'm special. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. I hope you're having a fantastic start of the week. Hope you had a great weekend. Please let me quickly know if you can hear me, if everything is fine, it sounds fine, it looks fine, and I can actually check myself quickly. Yes, okay, I hear myself. Wonderful, I'm live. How is everybody doing? I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're having a great Monday and a great beginning of the week. A lot of stuff is going on. Of course, people are kind of in a mood right now because of the whole coronavirus situation. And I thought it would be a fantastic idea to write "Don't panic" with great huge letters, because when you tell people to not panic, like don't panic, it causes an amazing effect. People just panic more. So anyway, I just did that because I want people to panic, because people should be panicked. No, I don't want people to panic. Please don't panic. Don't panic. I'm not a genius. I'm not a I'm not a master and expert of the whole situation that is going on right now with the coronavirus, which is why I think, as many other people, I'm of course in no position to give you professional advice about the whole situation. But of course, I have a YouTube channel here with 200,000 subscribers that I have accumulated by being a jerk, which is why I want to just. I'm putting on hand sanitizer right now. It smells good too. It has a very weird smell. Oh God, I'm getting high here. Anyway, so I just want to reiterate for all the people who want to talk about the coronavirus, I just want to reiterate what the experts say. I mean, listening to the experts is always the best thing to do, which is don't go to crowded places, don't go into big crowds, prefer to stay at home, just don't even look on Twitter. Twitter is the worst place to look at when something huge is going around like this, because everyone is panicking on Twitter. There's constant finger pointing, bashing, insults, and all that stuff going on Twitter. Twitter is really the worst place to look at. If you look at the news, you will see some very basic information, which is that that most people are in no danger when it comes to the coronavirus. You might get it, you might be infected, you might give it to others, but you yourself are in no danger, which is good news. Another good news, actually bad news and good news, is that when you look at the numbers, I think there are like currently 170,000 cases known of coronavirus, and many experts say that in reality the numbers are much higher. Some speak of 10 times that much, which is good news and bad news, because the good news about that is that the death rate is so much lower compared to the number of cases we have. The bad news is that a lot more people have it without knowing it. But again, that actually just shows that it's mostly not such a terrible thing to most people. But which should also not mean that people shouldn't be insensitive about it, because old people are especially in danger. People with pre-existing health issues are especially in danger, and just right now, this is actually a perfect time to care about others, to care for others, to help others, and to be a little bit responsible, to take care of yourself, to not cough and touch your face in public. Don't touch yourself in public. I don't think you would touch yourself in public anyways, in a sexual way especially. But even if you touch yourself in public, let's not even go there anyways. This always gets into weird corners. Don't touch your face in public. Listen to the experts. They tell you a lot of what you should do. Use sanitizers, and just be good. Be good as always. This will quickly, hopefully, go away, and everything will be fine again. We had a lot of outbreaks over the last century. Of course, we didn't have social media. We didn't have panic spreading that much back then. Now everyone knows what's going on. Now everyone gets real time news. So the panic is, of course, much bigger, and of course, the transmission of the disease is also much bigger, because people are getting around everywhere into the world right now. So yeah. that much to not panicking. I see Abdullah Samir here in the comment section. Abdullah Samir, hey Abdullah, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing well too, Abdullah. Thank you. Great to see you here. We had a big beef with Abdullah Samir at one time. Some people might have seen it on Twitter, but we're cool now. I'm glad to have you here, Abdullah. I'm glad to see you, and hope you're doing well too. And of course, yeah, we didn't have the WHO either, which is helping the situation a lot, and giving people lots of good advices on how to act with the current outbreak going on. But I don't know. I just want to reiterate what experts are saying, which is be responsible, but do not panic. Avoid crowd places. Really, it's not the time to be a daredevil and to go out there and go into large crowds and party and touch each other and all that stuff. You might feel like you're doing something daring and something cool and all that stuff, but in reality, you're just being a complete scumbag by putting other people in danger, especially older people in society in danger, which I don't want to call you a scumbag. I'm sorry. I'm just saying it's a time to be careful and responsible and compassionate. Compassion is really, I guess, the right thing, the right sentiment in times like these, especially if you care about the older population and the population that has pre-existing conditions, often without any self-infliction. If you get sick, call the doctor. Don't go to the doctor. Call ahead and say, "Hey, I want to come and get checked." And what do I need to do? They might tell you to stay at home, to not come at this time, to come at a later time, because there might be a large crowd there, and you might just end up infecting other people or be infected yourself. And again, don't cough in public and into your hands, and don't touch your face, and don't touch yourself. God, why do I always go there? What a dirty mind! What a dirty mind! This all happens because I left Islam, and now I'm a dirty person. Dirty person. Anyways, that much to me doing my part as a responsible individual, as a responsible YouTuber jerk who has a lot of subscribers. Thank you all, by the way, for being here. Geek TV İlyas is here. İyi yayınlar Rıdvan. Thank you so much. Teşekkür ederim arkadaşım. Hoş geldin. That was Turkish for all those who don't understand camel. I'm just kidding. There are no camels in Turkey. That's a great misconception. Speaking of camels, oh my God, speaking of camels, let's talk about the Islamic coronavirus. On the thumbnail of this video, you might have seen the coronavirus. By the way, if you are here, don't forget to like the stream. By liking the stream, you will be doing me a great. You will be helping the channel and the stream greatly. And let me get to the coronavirus. Speaking of camels, some of you might know there was actually a disease, a different coronavirus, a coronavirus that existed before this one, or that. This one did exist. This one just didn't spread. There is a different coronavirus that was responsible for a disease that is still going around, known as the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, the MERS coronavirus. Now, since the whole coronavirus issue has been going on, and a lot of lot of Muslims have been looking at the coronavirus. I've seen a lot of people who said stuff like, "Oh, the coronavirus is spreading because of you dirty infidels," and there have been even people who tell me stuff like, "Oh, the coronavirus is spreading because of dirty people like you, or cursed people like you," and which gave me the idea. I really don't want to. I don't want to be like them and finger point and be dirty and all that stuff. But there is something that I want to trace back to our dear friend Mohammed, who should be part of our conversation when it comes to the coronavirus. Mohammed was obviously a complete moron who had no idea that that virus is spread, that disease is spread, and all that stuff. He didn't understand how that was going on. He was just some guy in the desert who was a little bit cuckoo, who was a little bit crazy, and thought he was communicating with demons and God and all that stuff, and angels, of course, angels that squeeze him. And but here is a different issue. Let me in fact share my screen here. My screen. So here's from the World Health Organization, their info page, which talks about the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome coronavirus. This is a coronavirus. There are numerous coronaviruses going on. Coronavirus might be something that many of us have heard only now because we have COVID-19. But coronavirus is actually a virus that often comes from animals, bats, I believe, and is responsible for other diseases as well, just as MERS or SARS. Of course, MERS is a much worse disease because this has a death rate of like 30 something percent, like 1/3 of people who get this disease die. The funny thing here is that researchers on this coronavirus, on MERS, have led to the conclusion that that camels are largely responsible for spreading this coronavirus, and this is extremely deadly. Now, this can spread from animals to people, they say, and between people. But one very important thing here, I don't want to make fun of this issue or light of this issue. It says the mortality rate for people with the MERS virus is approximately 35%, as said. This may be an overestimate, however, as mild cases may be missed by existing surveillance systems, just as is the case with the current COVID-19. But where was this? Where was this? Contagious contact. Okay, let me just search for the term here. Urine. All right, there's one mention on this page of urine, which goes under the section, should people avoid contact with camels or camel products? Is it safe to visit farms, markets, or camel fairs? Now, let me read this part to you. As a general precaution, anyone visiting farms, markets, barns, or other places where animals are present should practice general hygiene measures. These include regular hand washing before and after touching animals and avoiding contact with sick animals. The consumption of raw or undercooked animal products, including milk and meat, carries a high risk of infection from a variety of organisms. Animal products processed appropriately through cooking or pasteurization are safe for consumption, but should also be handled with care to avoid cross-contamination with uncooked foods. Camel meat and camel milk are nutritious products that can be consumed after pasteurization. Cooking or other heat treatments. Until more is understood about MERS-CoV, people with diabetes, renal failure, chronic lung disease, and immunocompromised persons are considered to be at high risks of severe disease from MERS-CoV infection. Immunocompromised means if your immune system is compromised. Especially in the Middle East, this group of people should avoid contact with dromedary camels, consuming raw camel milk or camel urine, as well as eating meat that has not been properly cooked. You cannot process camel urine, except under very modern circumstances, making medication out of it. Camel urine. Camel urine. Camel urine. Camel urine. Let me switch to the next screen. Wait. Let me switch to the next thing that I have here. Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay. Here it says on this page, the climate in a hadith about Muhammad, which tells us about several people who were sick and came to Medina to talk to the Prophet Muhammad. It says, the climate of Medina did not suit some people, so the Prophet ordered them to follow his shepherd, i.e. his camels, and drink their milk and urine as a medicine. So they followed the shepherd, that is the camels, and drank their milk and urine till their bodies became healthy. What? So Muhammad said that we should drink camel urine to feel better from because people feel bad trying to adapt to the climate of Medina. So he said you should drink camel urine as a medication. You should drink camel urine. You should drink camel urine. That's what Muhammad said. Muhammad said you should drink camel urine. Drink camel urine. Drink camel urine. Muhammad said you should drink camel urine. And you have just seen on the other page, which says that camel urine seems to be very responsible for spreading a disease called MERS-CoV. Camel urine is still being drunk in the Middle East nowadays among Muslim cultures because Muhammad, the holy prophet, said that it is good to drink camel urine, that it is beneficial, that it will do good to your health to drink camel urine. Yes, this is actually a part of Islam. Some people may not understand what this actually means. what it actually means when Muhammad says you should do something, or what this issue of drinking camel urine means. But what this means, dear ladies and gentlemen, is that drinking camel urine is actually a part of Islam as a religion. Yes. So just like you have practices and teachings in Christianity or Hinduism or other religions, in Islam, drinking camel urine is part of the Islamic religion, of Muhammad's teachings, because Muhammad is considered the holy prophet of Allah, rightly guided, constantly inspired, led, without mistakes, without lies, without ignorance. And he knows what he's talking about. All the hadith that are transmitted from him, all the things that he said to people are to be taken as authoritative, as authority. So if Muslims sit in a circle today and talk about all the things that Muhammad said and did, including drinking camel urine and telling people to drink camel urine, those things are considered almost, or not almost, they're actually considered an act of worship. Following Muhammad is considered an act of worship. Obeying Muhammad is considered an act of worship. Believing his words is considered an act of worship. In fact, when I was a Sunni Muslim, I learned that if Muhammad says something, and I explicitly disagree with him and say, well, no, that's not true, or if Muhammad says, I like this, and I say, well, I don't like that, that's disgusting, then that is considered disrespectful and almost a sin in Islam. You have to take Muhammad as a authority in Islam. Muhammad advised the drinking of camel urine, which has been responsible for the spread of MERS coronavirus, which kills, as far as the statistics tell, 1/3 of its hosts. I don't know what else to say about this. Don't drink camel urine. The hadith goes on and says, look, so they followed the shepherd, that is the camels, and drank their milk and urine till their bodies became healthy. Of course, they became healthy, and that was totally because of the camel urine. Yeah, of course. Then they killed the shepherd and drove away the camels. When the news reached the prophet, he sent some people in their pursuit. When they were brought, he cut their hands and their feet, and their eyes were branded with heated pieces of iron. Holy... That escalated quickly. Maybe they acted like this because they drank camel urine. Maybe people act like this because they drink camel urine. I don't know. Maybe it is camel urine that makes people go to an all-out jihad. Maybe it's camel urine that makes people fly into buildings. I don't know. How can we ever know? Maybe this is it. So yeah, this is what's going on, people. This is what's going on, dear friends. Don't drink camel urine. By the way, Isaac Marshall said, Apostate Prophet, congratulations on victory against Nadir. You started a bit slow, but went for the jugular at the end. You showed how easy it is to defeat the position. Yeah, this is talking about the science mistakes debate that I had with Nader Ahmed, which I didn't really enjoy because he was very disrespectful and really dirty and slimy. But it was a good end. The issue is also, I prepared actually a long speech for that debate. For that debate, I actually prepared a 20-minute speech because we thought we would just go by the regular debate standards, and I would make an opening statement. He would make an opening statement. Then we went live. We wanted to start the debate, and he suddenly said, "Wait, I didn't prepare an opening statement. I thought we just do 2 minutes back and forth." And I had to throw everything away and start it completely without plan. So that's why everything looked so weird during that debate. But yeah, you can always go and watch the debate between me and Nader Ahmed about the scientific mistakes in the Quran, and tell me what you think of it, how you like it. And to all those others, I'm always ready to go out there and have a scientific mistakes of the Quran debate with you. So if your Muslim apologists and Muslim scholars want to ask me to have a debate with me about the scientific mistakes of the Quran, they can contact me, and I will most likely, if they are respectful and if they will stick to the etiquette of a debate, gladly agree to debate them. I will not go out there because I don't think my deal is with Muslim apologists. I don't think they are my opponents. I think my deal is with Islam itself. And Muslim apologists are not between me and Islam. If they want to attack me, they can come at me. By the way, thanks everyone for being here again. Thank you so much for being here. I want to go into a few questions. and see what is going on here in the live chat. Afterwards, I would gladly go on and talk about a few other issues that I have on my mind. And then I will again this week go ahead and start making videos. Over the last few weeks, I have been very idle. I have been very inactive on this channel. That's because I dealt with a lot of personal things. I didn't really have the time. But this week I'm coming back talking about a major issue, which is the flat earth in the Quran and the flat earth in Islam, how Islam describes a completely primitive earth, and how Muslims believed in that for quite a while. And then I will go and put a lot of videos out there again. So stay tuned for that. Let me see. Hindu Historian made a super chat and said, getting paid to sit in an empty office watching the stream. So here you go. Thank you so much, Hindu Historian. That's interesting. You should just stay at home if you can. I mean, if you can't, still stay at home. Or I don't know. People have to be at work, I guess, right? But I appreciate it. I appreciate that you share that with me. Thank you so much, Hindu Historian. I appreciate it very much. I'm personally also sitting in an empty office. That's because I'm the only person who is in this office, who's supposed to be in this office. I don't know. Maybe some people should come and work with me here in my office and help me make more work, make more videos. Susan Baker said, "Thank you, Apostate Prophet. You are very kind and I wish you good health and peace." Thank you so much, Susan Baker. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Susan. I'm sorry for referring to you with your name and last name. I don't know why I do weird things like that. Rafid Respond said, "Apostate Prophet, what do you think about Shabir Ali?" I think he's one of the more respectful Muslim apologists, one of the more respectful Muslims out there when it comes to defending Islam and discussing Islam. I have to give him that. One thing is, I think he's a very unconventional and reformist or revisionist Muslim, which means most traditionalist Muslims severely disagree with his positions on Islam, and many other Muslims completely disagree with him too. He has totally new perspectives, different reformist views on Islam, and often just reinterprets things, which is why it's hard to actually debate Islam with him, because it feels like you're not debating Islam, you're debating a new version of Islam with him. But other than that, he seems quite like a very respectful and good Muslim apologists. So that's what I think about him. I don't know very much about him. But yeah, I don't. Someone said he's a liar too. I don't want to make insults and accusations against people specifically. You know me. I'm not like that. I don't want to mention individuals specifically and attack them and insult them. I just don't think that way. I actually wanted to talk about that recently, but I don't know. Many people who come here on this channel might think that I have this position that I consider myself and others like me good, and Muslims and Muslims evil and stuff like that. But I don't think that way. I don't think that Muslims as a people are evil people. I don't think people are evil. I think humans are neutral overall. It is just the ideas that we follow that are good or evil. Some ideas might be extremely destructive, extremely bad, and extremely evil, and they might influence us and our thoughts and behaviors in very evil and destructive and terrible ways. Which is why we need to call those ideas out and oppose them, which is why I'm doing this, which is why I'm calling out Islam and opposing Islam. When I go out and say that Muslim apologists have deceptive tactics and defend and say evil things, what I mean by that is that they have adopted an evil or a destructive, a terrible worldview, and that they are defending something that is evil, not that they themselves are evil. A Muslim apologist or a Muslim could easily put his Islamic radicalism aside and adopt a different worldview, and then we would be on the same level. And this wouldn't mean that person is evil. And this just happens. We constantly change our worldviews. So long story short, I don't think people are evil, and as such, I don't want to ever blame anyone, attack anyone, harass anyone. That's just not something that I do, which is why it pisses me off so much when others do that to me. And I just, as a result, I could respond to them and could be extremely dirty with them too, but I don't do that. I just, when someone insults me and gets personal with me, I just feel like, okay, yeah, go away. I don't want to deal with you. That's my attitude. I have lived my life rejecting and ridiculing this the way people treat each other and the way men especially treat each other. I don't want to be ever dragged down to such levels. Anyways, that much to insulting people. Dear Dad said you're attacking 2 billion Muslims. No, I'm not. Grow up. I'm attacking your religious belief and your prophet. If you take that personally, that is not my problem at all. It is not my problem at all. I'm very sorry. If you take it personally that I call your prophet a dumb idiot, and that I think your religious belief is full of nonsense, full of garbage, if you take that personally, then that is your problem. There is nothing I can do about it. You have to fix the way you think about the world, not me. Okay. Mary Ann H., who is a member of the channel, said, my daughter married a Muslim man that has beaten her. I feel so helpless. If you are in such a situation, if you feel this helplessness, you should really seriously go out and be ruthless and seek the help of authorities in this, and ask authorities to fix this. There is no point in having any understanding and having any patience with such a thing at all. When I'm saying that I don't consider people evil, I'm not saying that we shouldn't intervene when people do evil things. We should intervene immediately. We shouldn't have any mercy in fixing their behavior on a social level, on a structural level. When if a man beats his wife or beats your daughter because of his sick worldviews and his sick culture, call them out, stand against them, call the authorities, ask them to fix it. Don't fix it in a vigilant way that would put you in any danger or in any trouble with the law. But please call the authorities and get it fixed. Call the cops. Put their name out there. Don't have any understanding for that at all. It's disgusting. Even if your daughter herself opposes to that, ignore her. Call the cops. You know better what to do. She doesn't know. Just my opinion, or my honest advice. Please don't ignore these things. It's call the police. Dear Mary Ann H., please let me know if how things are going. You can send me an email to theapostateprophet@gmail.com, or you can send me a message per Twitter. Soran Space said, fuck you fucking idiot. Thank you so much. Banned. Okay. All right. Marian H., don't stop. You said you have been to the cops already. Slap on the wrist. No, go again. This is nothing to take lightly. This is go to higher authorities. Go fully against it. I mean, I assume you live in a Western culture. In a Western culture, such things cannot be tolerated. If it needs to be done, make it public. Do it. Call the police. Please. There is actually there is no reason to tolerate this savage attitude, this savage behavior at all. Sojkovic made a super chat and said hi. Hi Sojkovic, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate the super chat. No question attached to that. I would always love to answer your question if you have a question with your super chat. There are so many people who type garbage in the live chat. I don't know what's going on, but someone is gladly deleting those comments. That's good. Tanya Van Kestel, who is always here, thank you so much, Tanya, said, hi everyone, glad to see the Apostate Prophet. Be safe, guys. Keep some social distance. Wash your hands. Yes, it's a time to be responsible. No panic, but just be responsible. Wash your hands. Keep some social distance. Stay at home. Don't cough in public. Don't touch yourself in public. Okay, I'll stop saying that. I'm sorry. All right. Sophia said, AP, you're great. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Sophia. I'm trying to see questions. I want to answer the questions. What about your view on CAA? It's too specific about India. I really don't want to talk about it very much. I'm not that informed about it. Isaac Marshall said, Apostle Prophet, I rate your patience level at 9 out of 10. What would you rate Hater Wood and Sam Shamoon? I'm actually not that patient, you know. I'm boiling inside sometimes, but I don't know. I guess it's sometimes just fun to ridicule things when people attack you. Keep your questions coming. I'll get back to them. If you want to send super chats, I'll definitely respond to them. Daniel Kamasi said, Apostate Prophet, when will be your debate with David? My debate with David will be very soon. We have said when I reach 200,000 subscribers. So please spread the word. And well, I'm not really doing anything to spread this to increase the subscriber count right now because I'm not really posting videos. But I'll get back to that, and then it will increase again, hopefully. And when David Wood reaches 100 million views, that was the arrangement. I don't know what the subscriber count of David Wood's channel is right now, if he has reached that. But we were thinking, as soon as that happens, we will get together, write our opening statements, post them, and we'll announce that in advance. He's currently at 98.8 million views, so it should be quite soon. We will have a debate about whether morality comes from God, which is the position that David Wood defends, or whether morality is a man-made construct based on other completely human factors, which is the position that I defend. Of course, everyone knows that I'm right, but we'll have a debate about this very soon with David Wood, which will be a back and forth on our channels, relatively, respectively. But thanks for the question. AJ Saul said, Apostate Prophet, why do women in Afghanistan think that wife beating is okay? This refers to an actual study, an actual survey, which found that that over 90% of women in Afghanistan think that it is okay or justified for a man to beat his wife for several reasons, like overcooking the food or not cooking the food or going out without permission and stuff like that. It is very crazy, but Afghanistan is not isolated in this. Afghanistan is just one of many countries in which women think that way. Even in much more advanced Muslim countries, there are too many women think that it is okay, that it is justified or sometimes justified for a man to beat his wife. This is an Islamic teaching. It's Islamic indoctrination. As a Muslim woman, Muslim women are indoctrinated with the thought that is okay, that this is Allah's decree. It is directly mentioned in the Bible, in the Quran. The Quran directly says, if you feared disobedience from your wives, in fact, let me read it here once again. I think I should always refer back to this and always read it out to all those who are unaware of what Islam teaches about this specific issue. But the Quran directly says in chapter 4 verse 34, men are in charge of women by right of what Allah has given one over the other and what they spend from their wealth. So righteous women are devoutly obedient, guarding in the husband's absence what Allah would have them guard. But those wives from whom you fear arrogance, first advise them, then if they persist, forsake them in bed, and finally strike them. But if they obey you once more, seek no means against them. Indeed, Allah is ever exalted and grand. The Quran verse actually says here, but those from whom you fear arrogance. So what the Quran actually says is that those women whom you fear to be disobedient against you, because wives are supposed to be completely obedient to husbands in Islam under Islamic law. Then you should separate them in bed, or you should warn them or separate them in bed, or finally beat them. This is Allah's decree according to Islam. So it is completely understandable that a Muslim woman indoctrinated under Islam and restrained by Muslim men thinks that it is okay for men to beat their wives. This is the toxicity of the Islamic of the disgusting Islamic masculinity. Sanvi made a super chat and said, "Hi, keep up the excellent work. Wish you the best of health. Also, if you could shed light on whether Muhammad's uncle wrote praises for Lord Shiva in Cyril Okul, or if it's a myth, that would be great." Thank you for the super chat, which is a very great and generous one. I don't actually have ever have heard of anything in that direction. I would speculate that, to the disappointment of you or many others, I would suspect that much of what is said about references to Hinduism in Islamic tradition or scripture, or among Muhammad's uncles, is based on myths, as far as I can tell, such as for example that the Hajj practice comes from Hinduism, or that the black stone comes from Hinduism. But other than that, I would have to really look into this source to find out if there is any truth to that or not. I'll make a note and I'll do that. Solitary Emmy said, maybe you and Abdullah Samir could collaborate. Solitary Emmy made a super chat and said, maybe you and Abdullah Samir could collaborate. I would gladly do that. Abdullah, you heard that? I think you're still here. I see you somewhere creeping around in the comments in the comment section here. Abdullah Samir, I would gladly have a talk with you sometime. We agreed to that before, but then we dropped it. But I'm totally up for it. We can talk. Okay. I would love to read some more questions, but first, I want to tell you something. But first, I want to tell you something with my German accent, and greetings to all the Germans, by the way. I love your country. I love my home country, the one that I was born into. Wait, who's talking about my age? Stop being so disrespectful. Pete Condolio said his name is AP and his age is 30-something. He remains anonymous because the jihadis want to kill him. Number one, AP. His name is AP. That's right. That's here. My age is 30-something. It's 29. He remains anonymous because the jihadis want to kill him. I'm not anonymous. That part is false. My name is Ridvan Aydemir. I live in America, in the Midwest. I was born in Germany. I'm of Turkish origin. My parents are Turkish. I'm a former Muslim. My name is all out there, Ridvan Aydemir. It's all out there. I'm not afraid that the jihadis want to come and kill me. I think it's a very, very unlikely thing. I think they wouldn't really benefit from coming and doing anything to me. Otherwise, they would be extremely deluded. It would also completely prove my point. And of course, I'm in America, where I have the needs to defend myself, the means to defend myself, and I also have the FBI and the police watching me. So, yeah. But yeah, thank you for your introduction of me. Abdullah Samir said, "Oh, you're young." Oh, of course I'm young. What are you thinking? Many people think I'm old, but I'm actually not that old. I'm a very young fellow. Okay. There's something that I thought about recently, which is about how Muhammad was extremely superstitious, and people might be unaware of that, but Muhammad actually taught that jinns are out at night. That when it gets dark, when it's night, jinns go outside and roam the streets or roam the desert of Arabia, and which is why people shouldn't leave things outside and should keep their children very close to them, because jinns might go around and snatch things. And that is absurd on so many levels. I don't know if I actually want to go into this right now, or if I want to leave that to a dedicated video. I might just do that. But yeah, I just leave it to a video. Excuse my disorganization. I'm a very disorganized person. I'm actually getting better. I'm currently getting some treatment for some people might be unaware, but I have ADHD, which is sometimes a very severe ADHD, and Really, if I told you I would respond to you at some point, or if I didn't respond to you at all, if I told you I would look into something but never looked into it, if I announced plans but then completely dropped them, it's all because of it's all because of my ADHD. Screw ADHD. But I'm currently getting some treatment for that, and it's actually going very well. So I might actually keep up with my plans much better in the coming weeks. That is it. For those who don't know what ADHD is it means I just have an extremely hyperactive brain. Many people have different forms of ADHD. Mine is just mostly about how active my brain is. My brain is a constant circus. It's like there's music playing in my brain and all kinds of conversations. I'm thinking about this and that and this and that and that, and I forget everything. That's how it works. Yeah. Okay. Someone said, "Yay, ADHD club." Space case. Okay, let me get back to the questions. Mr. Critic 77 said, "This is for you, my favorite Turk." That's a super chat by Mr. Critic 77 who said, "This is for you, my favorite Turk." Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Mr. Critic 77. I appreciate that. Turks are fun people. I said a few bad things in the past about Turks. Maybe, I don't know. It's because I'm a jerk. I don't know. That's what I am. That's what I do. Okay. Bara said, I have ADHD as well, apostate. Yeah. It's a problematic thing. That's why I'm such a jerk, because I have ADHD. But it's good. I like being a jerk. It's okay. It's fine. I think I'm a friendly person, mostly. Bird Brings the Word made a super chat. Thank you so much, Bird Brings the Word. I appreciate that. Said, "Much grace and love, AP, and to you all in the chat. You are looking healthier and happier, brother. Also, moral laws have a moral lawgiver. Heart." Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Bird Bring the Word. Thank you so much for your kindness, for your good words. I do look healthier and happier than last year, definitely, because I've made a lot of health improvements. Have adopted a completely positive attitude compared to last year, where I was drowning in anxiety. But yeah, thank you so much for noticing that and pointing that out. Moral laws have a moral lawgiver. I disagree. This would become a huge, long conversation again. We had this last time when I went live. I don't want to go into that again. But just a few basic things. Here's my view on morality. People over time came together, had to learn to live together. As they learned to live together, they came to several rules, to several conclusions that they made because they needed to take care of each other and especially of themselves. For example, they established that we should probably not murder each other, because if we just consider it okay to murder each other over nothing or over petty reasons, then we might put our own existence in danger. Which is why people came to the conclusion that we shouldn't murder each other. That's a universal rule. Murder is wrong. Similarly, for example, robbery is wrong because we gather our own possessions. We don't want others to snatch them and to take them away violently. Which is why we came to the conclusion that robbery is wrong, or that rape is wrong, for example. Over time, we have just adopted. We have developed our rules and adopted even more rules to live together. We are constantly changing our rules. 2,000 years ago, it was completely normal in many cultures to have slaves and to treat them badly, while today this is something completely unthinkable. And this just shows that our morality has constantly evolved over time. I don't know why I'm confusing these words right now. Has constantly evolved over time. So that is my view. And this is a very, very superficial explanation of what I think of morality. But having a debate with David Wood, I will definitely substantiate this point of view very much. Base it on 2,000 years of philosophy and psychology, recent psychology, and yeah, you can watch that, and then you can disagree with me. Gladly. I guess we would, after we are done with our debate, we would have a questions and answers session where people can tell us where they disagree with us, where they agree with us, and what questions they have about our stances on morality. But yeah, Abdullah Samir made a super sticker, bumping fists. Awesome. Thank you, Abdullah. We'll talk. Living Monk said, "Hey Habibi, let's make a skit together." Living Monk said, "Hey Habibi, let's make a skit together," in a super chat. What skits are you doing, dear Living Monk? Who are you, Living Monk? I would always be down and up for that. Of course, Living Monk. I don't know. Hit me up. Oh, you have a channel. Okay, that's nice. Sure. We can do that. Contact me, please, on Twitter or per email. Gladly. I appreciate it, by the way. Asked Que made a super chat and said, "Do you think Turkey is heading back to theocracy?" No, I don't. I actually don't. I really don't. I think Turkey has been recently taken over by Islamist sentiments and an Islamist government. Or Islamic government, whatever you want to call it. But that is only because Turkey, over the last century, suppressed religious sentiments and religious politics very much. And in a recent decade, in the recent 2 decades, the religious portion of the population has just found a way to act against that whole suppression. And to get religion into politics and into power again. That's what's happening. Turkey is not becoming more religious. Religious people are just coming back to the surface and taking things over briefly. But most people, even those who are for religion and who love religious belief and who want to support a religious government, are not for religious laws. They don't want to support stuff like that, and they will very soon realize what the consequences of Islamic politics are. Many of them do already. I don't ever believe that Turkey will head back to a theocracy. People in Turkey have tasted what it is to live in a secular nation, and they have been so much better than their surrounding Islamist nations or Islamic nations, and they will eventually realize what is wrong with theocracies and religious extremism. But thanks for the question. Someone with a Greek name. God, I learned so many different scripts. The Russian script, the Japanese one, and all the others. The Cyrillic one, the Japanese one. I never learned the Greek one, which is a shame because I really find it so interesting. Anyways, said, AP, will you ever do a 23andMe or any other ancestry test? I actually have done it. I have taken an ancestry DNA test. I wanted to make a video about that a year ago, but I never did. I should do that sometime. I should really do that sometime. I had a lot of stupid ideas about that. I'll do that. I should do that very soon. Actually, yeah. I should make an ancestry DNA reveal here on my channel. I don't know if I'll call it ancestry DNA or ancestry DNA, since my parents are cousins because I'm a former Muslim. Muslims. Islam. Anyway, Living Monk said, "Who is into me collaborating with Apostate Prophet?" Everyone who is into that, please say yes to Living Monk. I'm ready. Okay, I'll try to get into more questions, into super chats and regular questions. I'll be here for another 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'll say goodbye because I need to get back to work. And I really don't like long super chats because I feel like it destroys the structure of my videos and the channel. But I also like hanging out with people, with everyone, so that's the good thing about it. Dr. House said, "Hinduphobia is real. What do you think?" Honestly, I know there are a lot of Hindu viewers watching who would maybe agree with this statement, but I don't agree with it. It's just like Islamophobia. It's just the same thing. I don't. People can have positions opposed to Islam, opposed to Hindu cult. People can have positions opposed to Islam and Muslim society, Muslim culture, and they are not Islamophobes. Similarly, people who are opposed to Hinduism and Hindu traditions and Hindu culture are not Hindu phobes. They are just people who happen to have opinions in that direction. We should really, if you don't like the position, if you don't like the label Islamophobia, you shouldn't like the label Hinduphobia either. That's a very bad attitude. People have opinions, and you shouldn't label them that way. Seriously, I don't agree with that at all. I find Hindu faith, Hindu culture, Hindu not Hindu culture, but the Hindu beliefs, Hindu spirituality and traditions in many way totally wrong and nonsensical. Personally, and I would say that too if you ask me about it, which doesn't make me Hindu phobic, right? I still am totally fine. I still am totally cool with Hindus, just as I'm cool with atheists and Christians and Buddhists and even Muslims if they were ready to be cool with me. Yeah, that much to phobias. Um, Hjörns Parket's Islam Sanded DNA said, I don't know I don't know how to speak that out. Said Deposit Prophet, get ready to be the next Nabil Qureshi. You can wait for eternity for that to happen. With all due respect to Nabil Qureshi and his conversion story and his ideas, I think the guy was a very smart guy who was a very great speaker. I think he was dead wrong when it came to beliefs, and I would gladly explain my position on why. In fact, I talked with David Wood about once we are done with our debate on morality, I would gladly have a debate with him about God, about whether God exists or not. So if you really want my reasoning on why I don't believe in God, I will give it to you, and you will regret that you have ever asked me. Just kidding. Greedy boy made a super chat. Greedy boy made a super chat and said, "Can you talk about Kashmiri pundits, and Coptic Christians? Maybe sometime. Sometime. I look a lot into Coptic Christians. I follow the situation in Egypt with Coptic Christians. Um, I would gladly speak about it. I would have to look more into the whole Kashmir situation. There was actually something about Coptic Christians that I never said publicly, which really still disturbs me whenever I think about it. But there was this thing. I wanted to organize a big fundraiser like a year ago or so for Coptic Christian children in need, because I followed the whole situation with Coptic Christians. Oh God, my foot. Give me a second. I followed the whole situation with Coptic Christians for quite a while, and I always felt so bad, and I thought I wish I could organize something to help Coptic Christians in Egypt. Then I contacted this organization of Coptic Christians and said, hey, I would like to organize a big fundraiser on YouTube. Where should I do it? Which is the best channel? And their response to me was, we would appreciate if you do not make a public fundraiser for us. We always appreciate your private donations, but I don't think a fundraiser in public associated with your name would be good for us, because the government would hold that against us. And I thought, what the hell, man? I can't even help these people, and that completely discouraged me from ever considering making public fundraisers for disadvantaged minorities in the Muslim world, because I would like to help them, but will my desire to help them actually put them in more trouble with their governments that are bad to them, that persecute them? And yeah, anyway. So that's what I think about Coptic Christians. Mr. Critic 77 made a super chat and said, who would win in an MMA fight between an imaginary Muhammad and a non-existent Jesus? Good question. Good question. I don't know the answer. Um, I guess imaginary Muhammad would win because Jesus was so good with morals that he just would turn the other cheek all the time, and Muhammad would just be a complete barbarian and would violate the rules um, and and pull out his secret sword. And yeah, that's the whole problem with with comparing Muhammad to Jesus. Uh, David the Goliath made a super chat and said, "Did you see the video of Iranian scholar calling Corona a punishment of Allah on infidel Chinese, and then himself got infected by Corona?" I know, I saw that, and I really don't want to laugh about it, but it's just iconic, isn't it? And ironic, isn't it? The coronavirus really hit Iran very hard, which is very sad. I mean, their regime might be full of crap, but their people suffer from this, which is awful. Uh, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. I also saw that the supreme leader of Iran, the Khamenei, actually claimed that the coronavirus was a biological weapon against Iran or something like that. So it's such an idiot. Um, but yeah, I saw that. Okay, thank you so much, David the Goliath. Um, a few more regular chats and questions to interact with, and then I will be going into my day and work on um, on a topic that I'm preparing right now about how the Quran describes a flat Earth that is swimming on water. Um, MKR said, "What are your thoughts on Sadhguru?" I watched his stuff a little bit. There was actually a time when I did when I did mushrooms, and I thought, wow, that's a really really good experience, a really weird experience. So then I watched some Sadhguru videos, and I thought, wow. But then I came to myself again. Then I watched Sadhguru videos again, and I thought, I don't know why I was so impressed by this, because it's not impressive at all. So I don't really find him impressive. I don't find his perspective impressive. I think it's not for me, not for me at all. I don't know. It's I think stuff that he's talking in the public are just like very basic thought processes that I had like 10, 15 years ago, and no disrespect meant. I'm just really saying what I think about it right now. But yeah, that's what I think. Um, okay. Kevin Earn Trainer said, "AP, what do you think about some people claiming they have supernatural powers?" I think they're full of crap. No one has supernatural powers. If in thousands of years we haven't witnessed a single person and proven a single person to have supernatural powers, then there are no supernatural powers. And if someone has these powers and if they are common, then they're not supernatural anyway. So, uh, Misbah al-Zaid said, Apostate Prophet, AP, does your DNA test result contain some traces related to apes, as evolutionists suggest? I haven't taken one of those DNA tests, but those DNA tests actually do exist. That trace your DNA your DNA back to other kinds, but I haven't taken one of those. I've only taken a mere ancestry DNA test, which is only one that traces your ancestry back for 400 years or less than 400 years or something like that. That's what I took. I'll gladly talk about that soon in public. Um, I'm laughing because I'm thinking about ancestry DNA instead of ancestry DNA again. I'm laughing in my mind. Oh my god. Why do I do this? Why am I like this? TV Man said, "What do you think of cultural Muslims?" If by cultural Muslims you mean people who no longer believe in Islam but who still identify as Muslims because that's their cultural identity, I think it's just a phase, and a very weird one. But a phase nevertheless that other cultures, that other religions go through as well. If you're talking about Muslims who actually believe in Islam but who have literally nothing to do with the Islamic teachings, I like to call them pop Muslims. That's a very nice term that I love very much. Um, I wouldn't judge them. I just like to say, um, people. Most people are not made, or made is a weird word. Most people just. Most people don't have it in their nature to take their ideologies, beliefs, and all these things that seriously. Most people just want to live their lives. So if there are a lot of people who just hold on to to a belief as an identity, but don't really practice it, that's a completely natural thing. It's just like people who go out there and who spend their life dancing and listening to pop culture and all that stuff. So yeah, that's all I would say about it. B. Vargas said, "Is that like cultural Marxist?" LOL. uh, Prophet Cholesterol said, "Don't say 'Oh my God,' say 'Oh my science,' or Einstein at least." Shut up. Oh my God. Bara Yunus said, "Isn't saying Muhammad used convenient revelations an example of the post hoc fallacy?" Uh, I don't keep all those fallacy names in my mind. I think it's a giant waste of time to do that. To be very honest, a correlation between two things or events. Uh, did you just retract the comment? Oh, you made two super chats and you just retracted the one that I read and made a new one. I don't know why. Let me read that one. Isn't saying Muhammad used convenient revelations an example of the post hoc fallacy? What perspective? I don't know from what perspective you look at this issue right now. From isn't saying Muhammad used convenient revelations? Are you looking at this from a believing perspective and asking if those who accuse Muhammad of using convenient revelations? I know it's not. It's not. I don't understand the point of this at all. Um, if we speak of Muhammad, for example, speaking about, I get your point. It's a very complicated question. No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, the thing is, no one is in the mind of Muhammad. No one can ever look into the mind of Muhammad. No one can figure out why Muhammad said the things that he said, or why Muhammad claimed to have revelations. No one can figure out what Muhammad's motives actually were. If it was so easy, we could get some psychologists together and actually analyze Muhammad. But all we can do is just sit down here and bring several factors into the discussion, several hadith, several reports about Muhammad's attitudes and behaviors into the discussion, and then talk about what might have motivated Muhammad. When I, for example, make a video, which I will make very soon, about whether Muhammad was mentally ill, for example, or why Muhammad made some convenient revelations. All we can do is just present some explanations, our own interpretations, and present arguments, and then we can let the public decide why they think Muhammad made why Muhammad made revelations in specific situations. I will never be able to go out there and say, "Hey, I know that Muhammad just made this up, and I know that for a fact." I can never say that. I can just bring my own interpretation, and people can watch and agree or disagree with that. Saying that might be a fallacy to make such an assertion is kind of looks like a fallacy in and of itself. Okay. Hindu Story made another super chat and said, "I would like to hear your reasons for rejecting Hinduism for my own knowledge. You can tell me in private message to avoid attracting the Hinduphobia crowd." No, I don't really need to do that in private. I just think I've learned quite a deal about Hinduism and the Hindu perspective of life and suffering and creation and the world, and what we need to do in order to release ourselves from the cycle of life and suffering. But the thing is, it is just completely based on I believe completely based on old and primitive understandings of why of why humans exist, of why suffering exists, and uh, I just find that Hinduism is a very inefficient religion when it comes to human life and progress. I think that Hinduism teaches a great deal of human apathy, which looking at it from a Hindu perspective, you might think is good because you keep evil away and keep attachments away, and you just try to live your life in a you know. I don't know. I would like to reiterate that at some point, but I just in general believe that Hinduism has a great impact on human life and teaches apathy, class behavior, and I would say very superstitious beliefs that are that are completely based on unfounded ideas in the past. And the caste system is a different issue altogether. So seriously, bring me proof that there is reincarnation. Bring me proof that for some reason some people are born into a lower caste, or into a more miserable situation because of mistakes that they made in the past. That's a very judgmental and a very kind of messed up way of looking at life. Bring me proof that through a certain behavior you will be released from the cycle and go to whatever moksha, which I know is just a state of release according to Hinduism. Bring me proof of any of that. It's simply based on old interpretations of life and the universe, old interpretations of disease, of misery, of sickness. Someone said, apostate prophet, what about Buddhism? I think learning about Siddhartha, the Buddha, I see how he makes a step forward from Hinduism, but I would say that his ideas were for his time and for his environment quite revolutionary and nice. But looking at it now, when I read about the basic teachings and sayings of Siddhartha, I would think these are very basic ideas that I wouldn't look up to in today's time. I don't want to be. I really don't want to sound arrogant, but I think some of my most basic ideas about life and suffering are much brighter than the most profound ideas that Siddhartha uh, expressed to the public that became the core teachings of Buddhism, for example. And similarly, Buddhism is also built on the same assumptions that being rich and wealthy and extremely good doesn't bring peace, just as being bad and poor and miserable doesn't bring peace, which is why we need to abide by the middle path and the eightfold path, and then be released from this circle of suffering, because too good and too bad are both suffering, which means the middle path is the best path to go, which makes me think, okay, and what is that exactly based on? It's just based on very primitive thinking, which no reasonable person in today's time who goes with reason and logic would actually agree with. I would never agree with such a weird worldview. Compared to that, excuse me, I say that Christianity is my favorite religion, although I disagree with Christianity greatly, and I would never become a Christian for different beliefs, especially because I don't believe in God. I consider Christianity, for example, an efficient religion because it has the means to motivate society and create efficiency in society. Whereas Buddhist teachings, for example, completely focus on being as apathetic as you could be, which is completely contrary to human nature and human progress. The same could be said about Hinduism. Some people in the West, for example, who are atheists, might say that might argue that if a religion is more peaceful, that means that the religion is better. than Abrahamic religions, which are more ready to be judging and violent and intolerant, for example. But I don't even agree with that. I think that that apathy and human laziness and superstition is much more dangerous. It's much worse than religious intolerance and violence. Insofar, I think that dharmic religions are that I would much more reject dharmic religions than I would reject Abrahamic religions. And that's my 2 cents. Sorry to all the people who have become angry by all the things that I've just said. I'm kidding. I'm not actually sorry about that. Okay, but yeah, that's just my humble opinion. It's just my humble opinion, as said. People can have their ideas, can have their beliefs, can respect their and venerate their teachings and spiritualities and all that stuff. It's up to you. I don't believe that that religion will kill us. That religion is destroys humanity. I don't believe that we are miserable because of religion. I'm not a radical anti-theist. I look at it from a much different perspective. I look at world and society and culture in long term, in a big picture perspective. I think religion is part of human civilization. Religion will change in the future. There is no emergency for me to go out and attack religion. But there is definitely an urgency for me to go out there and and criticize Islam as much as I can, which is the main topic. When was the last time we talked about Islam? I think we haven't talked about Islam for like 15 minutes, which is a shame. We have to talk about Islam. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Hindu historian. Thank you so much for asking that question and allowing some some disagreement, some discussion, some variety. I'll have to respond to these final super chats, and once I have responded to them, I will go because my throat is totally messed up right now. Nick Chan's Gaming made a super chat and said, "Have you seen the movie The Man from Earth 2007?" Isn't it me who suggested that movie to the public just recently, like twice or 3 times? Yeah, of course I have seen that movie. That's actually one of my favorite movies. It's one of my favorite movies. The Man from Earth is one of my favorite movies. I've recently talked about the movie on David Wood's channel, or here on my channel. I really like that movie. I would suggest everyone to watch it. It's very thought-provoking. Very interesting movie, my kind of stuff. Yeah, it's a very nice movie. Thanks for the super chat. Rajneesh Mishra said, "Oh Prophet, when will the continuous attacks on Dharmic people by the believers of Islam and similar ideologies come to an end? And why is everyone against their polytheism?" Well, it's just Islam's core. It's just Islam's core idea that polytheism is evil. That you need to attack it and destroy it, and that Allah is completely angry about it. And so it's just a completely natural consequence of that Islamic ideology and Islamic populations are so opposed and so hostile when it comes to polytheistic religions. And especially, you have a history with Hinduism and Dharmic religions and Islam. Islam tried to take over those lands, but Hindus were taken over but didn't change, and now they have taken it back, and it's just a big fu into the face of Islam, and that makes people angry. So, but yeah, that's it. Abdullah Samir made a super chat, said, "Forget religion, secular humanism for the world." Thank you, Abdullah Samir. That's your opinion. I don't think, I'm not a humanist, very honestly. I know many atheists are humanists, and I'm expected to be a humanist too because I'm an atheist, but I'm not a humanist. I don't think I'm a humanist. I think that, I kind of think that humanism is a naive idea. Because I would like to discuss that lengthily with you if you want to, but merely, for example, because of the perspective that humans are good in nature. I don't believe that humans are good in nature. I don't think that there is such a thing as humans being good in nature, or but that's just one tiny aspect of humanism. I believe humans are neutral in nature. and that I don't base my moral views, my moral philosophy, my ethics on humanism. No, I don't. I don't. I believe. I I think my views are close to the idea. It's called utilitarianism. To the idea that people have built their morals on the needs and conclusions of their own nature. That humans made social contracts, and that abiding what is best by reason is good for is the right way to go. Is Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a humanist. That's it. I'll come to that lengthily. Watch my discussion with David Wood. Please do that. Um, unless you just mean that, unless you just describe humanism from a less philosophical perspective, just as a way to to care about all humans, and if that is your view. But I just generally don't agree with the popular atheists' perspectives and the idea that humans are all good. Which doesn't mean I'm thinking that all humans are bad. Anyways, I'm about to go. I'm 15 minutes too late. United States of STD user. What? United States of STD user just became a member. Thank you so much, United States of STD user. Uh, Welcome to the channel, and thanks for becoming a member, for becoming a prophet. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay. Ban Islam said, Apostate Prophet, if you become a Christian, stay away from the Catholic doctrine of the Trinity. The Catholic doctrine of the Trinity. You mean from the Trinity that the vast majority of Christians follow? No. Don't worry, I'm not going to be a Christian. So, anyways, okay, I should go. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you. I appreciate your support, your attendance, your comments, your super chats. Don't forget to like the stream. That will help a lot. Seriously. Thanks for being here again. I will see you next time. Until then, stay away from large crowds. Don't cough in public. Don't touch yourself in public. Oh, I said it again. And stay away from Islam, everybody. Thank you. Oh, there's a great delay. I have no idea when to turn this off. If you hear these last words, you may know that these are my last words on the stream. I'm not dying. Ignore this. Just stay away from Islam. Stay away from Islam. Stay away from the coronavirus. Stay away from Islam. Stay away from Islam. Stay away.